Absolutely Autism.
Hi, welcome to Absolutely Autism. I'm Lisa.
I'm Janelle.
And I'm Amy, and today we're going to talk about siblings.
Siblings.
Yes. How do we deal with siblings that may be neurotypical when your kiddos are ASD, or maybe you've got a couple of ASD kiddos? Mm-hmm. All the dynamics.
Children.
Yeah.
Boys, girls.
Yeah, all of that.
Yep.
So we're all very different, aren't we? Because you have 3 boys.
Yep. Which I suspect
one is diagnosed, and you
And 2 suspected.
2 aren't.
Yeah.
Amy also has 3 boys,
Yeah.
2 with diagnosis, one that's older with health issues.
Yeah.
And I've got 1 child and a step neurotypical daughter. So we've all got
We've got the
interesting situations. We all have interesting situations, don't we?
What are some of the challenges that come with having your situation, like with the siblings? What do you see, within, your family dynamic?
For us, it was, I think the biggest challenge was my stepdaughter was 3 when she came into our life. And my son was very used to, at that time, I was a single mum and was very used to having me all to himself. And it was very hard to make him still feel comfortable because there's another child that suddenly came into our life without preparation. So normally when you're pregnant, you can sort of prepare the child a bit. They get to experience that journey a bit with you. But when you take on a stepchild, it's like suddenly here's a sibling.
Ready-made child.
Yeah. And at that age too, she's a bit more independent. Like not like a baby.
She wasn't a little baby. She was very vocal and like had a good speech for her age. So she was very much here I am. And which is beautiful. But for my son, it was like, Hang on.
And he would have just started talking as well at that point.
His communication was still quite limited at that point. So we did, and still do now, is have lots of time together and the kids together, and the best of friends now, absolutely love each other. Yeah. Actually, my stepdaughter thinks she's going to marry my son, so that's a conversation for another day. But we try and make sure that they each individually get their time alone with us too.
And they need even non-step children need that one-on-one time with their parents,
so that they all get their moment to feel special and have just your attention. We're very aware of that, so we try and do that for both of them.
I definitely see the value in that, and because everything that they want to do with me is so different, so you which is a good thing because it forces you into with my oldest, we sit down and watch TV together, and that gives him enjoyment, or we go into character or things like that, whereas my middle, he wants to come with me everywhere. He wants to go shopping, he wants, and he wants to talk a lot, and I love it. But it forces that one-on-one because you can't actually balance.
It's very hard to balance, that's for sure. And having a youngest as well, and he's quite attached.
Very attached. One thing that I feel the reason, adding to the many things that I think he's on the spectrum for, he is obsessed with putting his hand down my top. And my oldest had that too when he was quite younger, but it's a sensory thing. It's warm, it's it's a
soft and comfortable.
But literally, I will be walking in the house.
Do you think they also can maybe feel your heartbeat and they like that too?
Yeah.
I'd like to think that. But that could be something.
I'll take that.
Yeah, let's take that one. But he'll come. Well, he's that attached that he follows me around the house when I'm doing chores, and we hold hands, and he puts his hand up my top all the time. And I will be walking, and he'll be like, "No, stop!" I gotta touch your skin. It is just a sensory thing. He likes the touch of my skin. Nothing unusual about that, I think.
And do your other children get funny?
Yeah, I was about to ask, is there jealousy or anything with that?
No, they understand. And that's the beauty about the siblings, that mine have grown up and understood each other's personalities. They still clash like anybody, but there's a lot more understanding than I would think just a friend would have with them. They get each other.
They're all still, even though they present differently, they personality-wise, they're all still relatively calm and chill. I always think, especially your youngest, he's always so chill. You know?
So chilled. He sits. I wish I could demonstrate it, but he like when he sits in the seat, in the car seat. He's 2 legs here, and he puts 1 leg up, like he's
lounging.
Cool, they're very chilled, very cool kind of kids. But in saying that, my middle child, he likes routine, he likes things, and so he goes from one extreme to the other, where it's like, I'm cool, I'm not cool. And that's his. That's when we know that he's not coping. Things, but the siblings are very unique. I have a story, so I feel like I'm hijacking this one, but I'm going to hijack it anyway. I don't care if it's not okay. No, I do care, I really do. But my oldest, if my youngest if my youngest one hurts the middle one, the oldest one cries. He gets very protective, and he sometimes will get in the youngest one's face.
Intervene.
Yes, he's like, I'm even though the middle one's like, I'm okay. The oldest one, no. He what's the word when there's a lot of empathy? He has a
strong sense of justice.
That too, but the empathy.
Oh yeah, he's empathetic.
Very empathetic, which is unusual for...
people normally assume that people on the spectrum don't have things like empathy and sympathy and things like that, which is actually very untrue.
Very untrue.
They feel that some things bigger and bolder than the rest of us do, that's for sure.
They just don't express it the same
way. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have an interesting question for you, Amy. Having an older son who's neurotypical, who's a teenager, how does he cope knowing that he's got 2 younger children on the spectrum? How is that for him? How was that brought up to him? And
well, I think for him, he came along on the journey with us. So he was right there, and he was 5 years older, so he could tell that things weren't, I guess, typical with his younger brothers, and that, something else was going on there. So he kind of came along on that journey and experienced it the whole way along. I think now he finds it very, very hard if anybody uses it as a detrimental term. Like some people now use it as,
you're autistic.
You're doing that, you're so autistic. That sort of real horrible use of the language, and he gets very, very upset. So I think he's definitely, as much as he wouldn't want to say it, he's definitely the boys' protector in that regard. Like, he does not want anyone speaking badly of them, even though he wouldn't profess to that.
How lucky is he, though? I find this, I guess, a blessing for him to be. I don't want to use the word exposed, but have that experience, which a lot of siblings don't.
I think that with my stepdaughter, I think she's growing up to be much more accepting of people who are different than herself, because she's been brought up like that, and it's actually good. It's a good personality.
But otherwise,
to have.
Do you think she would have known anyone on the spectrum?
Well, most likely, I think, because it's getting to be more and more common, especially once they reach school age.
But so intimately as well, having that intimate relationship with somebody on the spectrum.
For sure.
Gives them a sense of patience and understanding.
I think he probably wouldn't think of it as a blessing right now.
She may not think that.
But when he's older, absolutely, I think it'll be a wonderful legacy to have, that's for sure.
Sure.
I think the best thing that we can do is with the kids and their siblings is just speak openly. Just make it part of the conversation, everyday conversation in your household about them being on the spectrum, about the issues they face, about the wonderful things that they do as well, and don't make it a stigma. Don't make it a taboo subject.
Talk openly. I think a good suggestion that I've just thought of that I have done with my stepdaughter is when the kids are younger and are maybe feeling a little bit put out if your attention is more focused at that time on the child with the spectrum, is try and include your neurotypical child. Get them to help.
Yeah.
Can you help your brother is feeling sad? Maybe could you go and get his weighted blanket for him, and make them feel like they're a part of it in some way.
Yeah, for sure.
By including them.
Yeah.
And I know it's very hard to keep some kind of balance between how much attention you give to each child, because obviously, you know, some you're going to need to give more than others. But it's that I think it's important to keep with I guess speaking each child's language, you know, making that time to, you know, with your stepdaughter, you probably know about her that she likes to care, she likes to do things, and so you're giving her an opportunity to learn, but also to do things that she probably enjoys doing for her brother, and she probably feels that you are giving that attention to her as well. So there are things that don't have to be, you know, I've got to take, you know, this child out for, you know, a whole day because I took out this child for a whole day. You know, there's a balancing. Yeah, you're never going to get it perfect, but there's always ways to make them feel included or as important, because
and valued for the family member that they are.
Yeah, because there's no child that is more
important than the other.
And I think some of the signs are if they start to act out or lash out or something may just be a bit of a cry for attention. So just looking at your child's acting a bit differently, your neurotypical child's acting a bit differently. Maybe just it's easy to get caught up in
everything that we deal
that's
with
going on. Sometimes we can forget. We're only human.
And they are too.
That's right.
Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, find us on all our socials, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.